What's up, what's the word?
Yo, it's your boy Cody Mack here with another episode of What's the Word? We took the show on the road.
Yeah.
I'm here with Troy Rashad from Earn Your Leaders. How y'all doing, bro?
We're good, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, we in the building for Earn Your Masters here with y'all partner with United Masters and Ally Bay. Giving people a little background on like how this partnership came about.
Yeah, we shout out to United Masters, shout out to Ally as well. You know, early on in our journey of Earn Your Leisure, you know, there were a few people that saw the vision, first and foremost. And they believed in it, try to figure out how we could work together. And so, you know, we try to create an imprint or IP that would make sense. Obviously, United Masters with the musical background, us coming from an educational standpoint when it comes to finance, it kind of made a perfect marriage. And then Ally coming together to help us put it together, you know, it made a lot of sense. And so we've been doing this for about 3 years now, where they have a musical performance, we have education around finance and music, and then, you know, we usually have an interview with somebody of high prowess in that space. This year we decided to change it a little bit, give back more to the community. You know, capital raising in our community is such a tough thing. And so one way we thought to stimulate that was to have a pitch competition. So we started in Charlotte. We're here in Chicago today. An amazing group of entrepreneurs were here today to put their businesses on Front Street. And we're going to continue this. And then in Miami, we're going to have a final competition where they can earn up to $50,000, which is incredible for somebody who's trying to start a business.
Hey, I need $50,000.
That's a fact. Don't we all?
So this is the first year you guys decided to do it in Chicago?
This is the first year that we've had Earn Your Masters event in Chicago.
In Chicago. So what made you pick Chicago to be a part of the event circulation this year?
Chicago's always been a good market for us. We did Market Mondays here last year. So, you know, we wanted to kind of go to markets that we don't traditionally always go to. Like Atlanta is a big market. We go there a lot. We have Invest Fest there. New York is our home market. So Chicago just made sense. Like, you know, third biggest city in America. Like I said, we always get a lot of support. And Lollapalooza weekend, a lot of energy. So we wanted to kind of piggyback off of that.
This was a great weekend to have it with Lollapalooza. We got the Black Women's Expo going on. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs down the street at the arena. So yeah, this was a real good weekend to have it. So what do you feel like set Chicago apart from all of the other cities that you done Earn Your Masters at?
Man, you know, Chicago is so unique. It's a beautiful city that kind of has a misconception. All right, when people hear Chicago, they think of violence, they think of, you know, the youth that have no direction. But we wanted to come here and shine a light on entrepreneurs. Like you said, there's business that's happening. And so rather than having that perception, let's shape our own. And so you saw today, you had over 300, 400 people here to talk about business on a Sunday afternoon, which is, you know, something unique for our community. So anytime we get to shape narrative to the benefit of our community, we're going to do that. So Chicago made a lot of sense.
Nah, I just see y'all here with Ross Mack doing his well summit. Y'all spent some time here with that. So y'all do be in Chicago a lot. Get be around.
Appreciate that.
We definitely
forgetting about us.
Now, during the pandemic, you guys is like was like leading the way when it came to like content, financial literacy, helping people like figure out how to get a bag out here, right? So now that the pandemic is over, like what are some advice you would give to people out here that's trying to figure it out now?
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same principles apply as far, especially on like stocks and real estate, right? Like you always got to buy stocks. You always got to live somewhere, so real estate's always important. As far as businesses, some of the businesses have changed, just like a supply-demand thing. Right now, technology is leading the forefront. Talk about artificial intelligence a lot. Even all of the pitch competition contenders today, they all had artificial intelligence and AI as part of their business model. So I think that's definitely something for any entrepreneur to think about. Like, you got to have tech incorporated with your business. Like, no matter what it is, you got to find a way to incorporate tech and really AI too, if you really want to try to scale.
What advice, because we all in media and podcasting, so I know y'all working with music with this, like, so what advice would you give like people that do media to how should they incorporate AI in our business?
For sure. So I mean, how we use AI, we use it a lot. We use it for like YouTube, descriptions, titles. You can use it for thumbnails, graphics. It's great to actually, you know, kind of play with it to figure out how you can catch traction on the algorithm. For interviews, we use it for questions.
Okay.
We'll use it to research a person. Like if somebody has like a very long bio, we put in ChatGPT give me a 30-word summary. So different things like that, like, you know, as far as little small things that we've used it to kind of eliminate a lot of time that we were spending previously as far as researching and coming up with questions and YouTube descriptions and thumbnails and titles and all that type of stuff. So
Yeah, and when we came to Chicago, Market Mondays, from an investment standpoint, I was like, it makes everything more efficient, right? So when we're talking about investing, and all these companies have their earnings report, rather than trying to read through a 12-page dissertation from the company, you know, throw it in Claude or throw it in ChatGPT, have them summarize it for you, so you can expedite the time that you're retaining information. You do that over 5 to 10 companies, I mean, it's going to take you about 10 minutes to get all that done, rather than taking you maybe 2 to 3 hours. And so you just want to make things more efficient and use it to your advantage.
Okay.
So with Are Your Leisure, the podcast, you guys have Invest Fest, you guys do conferences all over the nation. What's next for the brand? Like, what can we expect? Y'all can give us an exclusive that y'all planning that y'all ain't announced yet. It's okay.
I think that's the most important, the question, right? What's next, right? We always want to be innovative. We always want to be creating. We don't want anybody to get accustomed to something that we're doing, right? We want to stay fresh. And so, you know, we started in education. We've been rooted in that from the beginning. And so curriculum is next, right? So we're putting curriculum inside of schools in New York City because it's something that's been missing, right?
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, rather than, you know, complain about the problem, try to create the solution. So I think we have a pretty solid solution, and that's financial literacy curriculum and treating it like not an alternative, but an elective to school, right? You used to have to graduate with certain electives. Why wouldn't financial education be one of them? So the initiative has been launched in New York City. Hopefully we make it citywide, and then after New York City, the largest school district in the country, adapts it, then it's time to move to other cities, Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami, LA, Houston, because we know it's vital and we know it's needed, and it's something that's been missing for too long.
Why do you think that it's taken so long for schools or educational institutions to implement finance and early financial education into their programs?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, change, it takes a lot of time, and you got to realize the system that's been created has been that way for so long. And so a lot of times in any industry, you got to be disruptive. And sometimes disruption is okay, right? If there is a disruption, then you don't get innovations. You don't have an Airbnb, right? You may not have an iPhone. And so we look at education reform in that way, because rather than teaching our students to be employees, right, we want to teach them to be owners and teach them to be entrepreneurs, which is kind of left out of the conversation. And so we always prepare people, go to school, go to college, get the good job. We never tell them, go to school, get education, create the company, hire. Right. It's a totally different mindset shift. And so we're proud to be a part of the disruption, and hopefully it becomes something that trickles down to our community where it's not something that's left out, but it's definitely included, and not just in schools, but outside in the community as well.
Because I always wondered that, but I never thought about it until my adult years. Like, why didn't I have like a financial literacy class? When I took a dance class, I was doing AP ceramics, so I'm making pots in class.
Right.
Teaching me how to spend my money. It just didn't correlate to me.
Nah, that's real. Like, I remember when I was in school, like, they didn't really, simple things like learning how to balance a checkbook or getting a checking account. Like, we used to go cash out checks at currency exchange. We didn't even thought about opening the banking account and building like relationships with banks and things of that nature. I got a so you guys say y'all really big into sports. I know y'all still hoop and things like that. How familiar are you with football?
Super familiar.
All right, so it was going around that Caleb Williams, Chicago Bear, he gonna take us to the Super Bowl.
Me in my Bears jersey.
I didn't know who 92 was.
92.
It's Bree now. Now I know it's Bree.
Y'all sitting with a West Side legend right now, 293. Like she.
Trying to tell y'all nothing.
But Caleb, it was a rumor that going around that they say Caleb didn't sign his deal with the NFL right away because he wanted to get an LLC and he wanted them to pay that LLC. They wanted them to do that. So can you explain to the people that really don't understand how powerful that's even him suggesting that is, and just how that's going to take sports to the next level?
It goes back to that piece about being disruptive. You know, when I read the report, it made a lot of sense. From a business standpoint, he was trying to save on the taxes, right? So he's trying to put it in his business thing, right? Where now there's things that can be deducted from his business standpoint. But the NFL, I mean, they're a huge corporation, so they looked at it and said, no, you're an employee. And so they have to pay you directly. But just to have that mindset at 19 years old tells you that there's a change happening, right? He's the number one pick. He had a lot of leverage. But we've seen this before. We saw a couple of guys say, you know what, I want to get paid in crypto. I want to get paid in Bitcoin, right? These type of disruptions will start happening more and more. And you'll start to see some change. I know some guys in the NBA, they're looking at it like, you know, rather than having my salary, what about equity, right? Or some type of equity in a club. So the conversations are changing because more young athletes are getting information. And I think it's great.
Shy, you got something to add to that, brother?
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, you know, just for him to think like a owner as opposed to just an employee, I think is impressive. Now they just got to figure out how to make it work. But, you know, the mindset is very impressive.
That also sparked something for me, like, and I want to get y'all take on this. I feel like when we talk about the future, I feel like the employee thing is, I think a lot of people is going to be independent contractors instead of employees. So from y'all being bosses and y'all just being bosses, do you feel like it's more beneficial to have employees or a bunch of independent contractors?
There's benefits in both. I feel like if you are employing somebody in an independent contractor, it's a lot less paperwork, and you don't have to pay the taxes and stuff like that as far as like, you know, workers' comp and health benefits and things of that nature. But sometimes if you have employees, then that could be more beneficial for you as well. So it just depends. But usually it's easier just to have like 1099 contractors as opposed to having people on paperwork as like a real employee, because it's a lot that comes with actually employing somebody as opposed to just you could 1099 anybody, right? That doesn't really take too much. So yeah, it just depends. But as far as like for somebody that's just starting out and they just easier way to go about it, 1099.
1099. Okay. I know we got to wrap up and I got to get out of here. So I know it's election season. You know what I'm saying? A lot going on within the culture with election. To use y'all platform, I want to say this. Like, they say black community, we spend like almost $2 trillion a year, right? How can we use, or what advice would you give to our community to start using our money to affect change in politics?
Yeah, super PACs,
Yep.
very important. That's the political action committee, and that's people that pull their money together, and they run ads, like the ads that you see on TV or here on the radio. That's usually through super PACs. So I feel like we could definitely, you know, work on that, having some black super PACs, having super PACs for issues that we're passionate about, like let's say reparations or whatever it is, access to capital, whatever, and really holding politicians accountable as opposed to just voting with emotions, voting with our interest, and holding them accountable so they can just live up to that as opposed to them just, you know, appealing for our vote every 4 years and then we don't hear from them again. Like, you know, that's not really helpful. Like, you know, we got to find a way to make sure that once we get them in office, we hold them accountable. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we are funding their campaigns and putting pressure on them financially, because that's the only thing that they really respect is money.
How do we put pressure on them financially for somebody who may not?
So like I said, I mean, so these politicians, they get funded. Donors, that's why Biden backed out, right? Because once the donors said that they wasn't going to back him anymore, he really had no. So if you give a politician, let's say $5 million, right, from a super PAC, now they're going to be beholden to you, right, because you're funding their campaign. So if you say, okay, well, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, we're going to not only give you this $5 million, but we're going to give your opponent $5 million, and we're going to run ads against you, and now you're going to become our opponent, right? Now they have a decision to make, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to go with the money. So that's what I mean, like, as far as financially hold them accountable, like, you know, put pressure on them financially to say, okay, look, we'll give you this money, but in order for you to take this money, you have to do this. And if you don't do this, then there's going to be consequences as far as we're never going to give you money again. We're going to fund your opponent. That's what other people do. Like, you know, their interest, if somebody doesn't align with their interest, then they find other politicians that do align with their interest. They fund their campaigns. They run negative ads against the other people, and they get them out of office. So that's something that's politics. That sounds like a dirty game, but that's really how politics works.
That's at the national level. We're talking about the presidential election. But it's at the local level too. So a lot of times people forget that people that are going to make decisions that directly affect you, right? That doesn't happen during the national convention. That happens every other 2 years when it's your local councilman, whether it's your town supervisor, it's the mayor of your city, it's the governor. Those people are as important, if not even more important, because they directly affect the people, the citizens of that state and city.
Thank y'all.
Bree,
Chopping it up with us.
it's been real.
I'm gonna get you a jersey. That's
Huh?
say Bree on the back.
I want the Caleb jersey. I want the Caleb
I'm
jersey.
gonna get you a Caleb and a
Okay.
jersey.
Yeah, all right. But so you're a Bears fan. What's the record gonna be this year?
We winning everything.
Everything.
Super Bowl, all that.
All that.
Yeah, all that.
Oh man.
Why not?
Why not? I love it.
Y'all heard it here first. We win that Super Bowl.
No pressure, Caleb.
That was Cody Mack. What's the word? Be specific. Troy Rashad. Earn your leads at Earn Your Masters, man. Appreciate y'all for chilling with us, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Outside.
Hey, what's up? What's the word?